with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
Good evening. Connie is off tonight. The National Rifle Association and Republicans won a big one this evening on Capitol Hill. President Clinton and the Democrats lost big. In a showdown vote, the House of Representatives refused to pass the new anti-crime bill. Assault weapons were the key. CBS News White House correspondent Rita Braver has the story. Rita?
Dan, it was a stunning defeat for President Clinton. The Democratic-controlled House refused to bring his crime bill to the floor for a final vote. The Democrats went against the president by refusing to bring the bill to the floor. It went down 225 to 210, with 58 Democrats voting no and only 11 Republicans voting yes. A distressed president spoke to reporters.
This is about the American people. It is their #1 concern. And the American people are not foolish enough to be conned into believing that people are really for doing something about crime, but they had to pull a political trick to keep the bill from being voted on.
Earlier, President Clinton cut short an announcement of his new White House counsel, Federal Judge Abner Mikva, to work the phones for the crime bill.
David, if I don't make some more calls, then I'll always wonder.
His chief of staff had gone to Capitol Hill talking tough.
Let's kick a little ass up here.
But in the end, the administration and the Democratic leadership were the ones kicked. Their bill that would have added 100,000 new police officers, put 3-time violent offenders in jail for life without parole, banned 19 kinds of assault weapons, and added millions for crime prevention programs went down. The vote came after the Republican National Committee sent Republicans who had supported the bill earlier a copy of a resolution threatening to cut off party funding because of the bill's gun control provisions. On the floor, Republicans claimed their main objection was to the crime prevention programs. The debate got very angry.
This bill could have been, it should have been, a lean, mean crime-fighting machine. But there are too many election year goodies, trinkets, and gift-wrap spending programs piled on it.
The society that cannot protect the physical security of their citizens is a pretty useless society, whatever else it can accomplish.
Now, what you're hearing across the street is a demonstration against the Ethiopian president, who is visiting the president here at the White House in the midst of all of this. And tonight, Democratic House members said it is very unlikely that the crime bill will ever be resurrected. That does not bode well for the president's health care agenda or for the rest of his presidency, Dan.
Rita Braver, live at the White House. The president is also in a heap of trouble tonight on his other major domestic priority in Congress, reforming the country's health insurance system. On Capitol Hill, CBS News Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer is tracking the latest on that story. Bob?
Dan, as Rita said, this may foreshadow even worse news for the president's health care plans. Earlier today, House Democrats decided to postpone the first scheduled votes on health care next week because they said a financial analysis of the legislation was incomplete. But other Democrats told us privately they are nowhere near having the votes to pass any health care plan. Today's action just underlines the disarray Democrats find themselves in. And tonight, no one in the House can even say when the first votes on health care will begin.
Things were just as confused in the Senate, where the health care point man, Majority Leader Mitchell, was being whipsawed. In one Capitol room, an AFL-CIO spokesman said organized labor, normally a staunch Democratic ally, wants to toughen Mitchell's bill to force business to pay a bigger share of the cost of health insurance.
We will work to indeed strengthen the mandate as it now stands in the Mitchell bill. The employer mandate is, for all of us, the defining issue.
But on the Senate floor, a member of Mitchell's own party assailed the bill for going too far already.
Let us not try to ram something through on a party line basis with provisions to take effect in the year 2002 when we don't know what's going to be happening in this country or how much this program will have cost. Let us not do it.
Republicans just intensified their opposition and claim public opinion is swinging their way.
This is Phil Graham. May I help you?
Graham of Texas, one of the most visible opponents, said he's getting 1,600 calls a day now. Will the bill pass?
Over my cold, dead political body.
Republicans claimed many of the calls came from angry senior citizens, mad because the nation's largest senior association endorsed the bill yesterday.
The fact is, my phones are ringing off the hook by members of AARP in Arizona. AARP's phones are ringing off the hook by outraged citizens who want to know what they purport to represent.
The partisanship, Dan, is running higher than ever, but the only thing that can be said for sure, things are in such a muddle now, no one knows what's going to happen. Dan.
Bob Schieffer live on Capitol Hill. New White House guidelines were issued today aimed at trying to prevent any more embarrassing cases about ethics in government. The new policy forbids cabinet members and all presidential appointees from accepting travel, gifts, or other favors from companies they are supposed to regulate. This comes as Agriculture Secretary Mike Espy faces accusations about travel and gifts he reportedly received from the nation's biggest poultry producer. Owners of Major League Baseball teams were said to be talking by telephone today about possible ways to head off a players' strike. But there is little hope of avoiding a walkout at the conclusion of the last game tonight. In this dispute over money, big money, correspondent Bob Orr reports there will be a lot of losers.
In a game that is increasingly about money, baseball is again about to strike out.
Man, I think it stinks. I mean, they're already making enough money.
I think the whole thing's a result of the obscene pursuit of wealth.
With some teams already packed and the rest only awaiting tonight's final out, baseball is sliding headfirst toward its 8th work stoppage in 23 seasons. Millionaire owners are demanding a salary cap. Millionaire players reject that and are choosing instead to go without paychecks. They won't be alone.
I feel bad because I got to feed my family. And now, I have to go look for another job. It's going to be hard.
Restaurants and other businesses which depend on ballpark crowds are bracing for layoffs. There is no joy at Murphy's Bleachers outside of Chicago's Wrigley Field.
I feel bad for the little guy. I'm going to have to lay off some bartenders starting Friday.
If the players leave their jobs for the remainder of the season, New York City expects to lose $109 million in revenues. Other cities like Chicago could lose even more.
Atlanta, proud to host the '96 Olympics, will be embarrassed to lose its top summer attraction.
The Atlanta Braves have been the engine and the thrust of our tourism for the past 3 years.
Perhaps no city, though, will suffer like Cleveland. After 40 long years, Indians fans finally have a contender and a new ballpark. For them, the pain goes beyond money.
I think they're being very unfair to the fans in a city that builds them this beautiful stadium. And here we go again.
As the final games were being played, there were no new negotiations. The nation's first fan tried an appeal.
There are a lot of little kids out there who want to see this season come to a close. And there are a lot of not-so-little kids out there who know this is the most exciting baseball season in 40 years.
But negotiators say only a lightning bolt breakthrough now could keep the lights from going out on Major League Baseball. And nobody wants to guess when they might come on again. Bob Orr, CBS News, New York.
Coming up next on tonight's CBS Evening News, Bosnian Muslims under fire. President Clinton wants to lift the embargo on selling them arms. And later, Eye on America. Tonight, what made one child kill another?
Announcing a great way to get away from it all, including high monthly payments in the new Eldorado. Because for a limited time, the Eldorado, with its 270 horsepower North Star system, is only $399 a month for 24 months with $2,500 down. The Cadillac Eldorado. See your Cadillac dealer now before this special offer dashes by.
Your doctor said, what? Listen, if you're a woman and you get heartburn, should you take these, which have aluminum and magnesium, or should you take new Tums Ultra with calcium?
Tums Ultra tablets, which dose for dose neutralizes more acid than regular Mylanta or Maalox.
And gives you calcium. Something your body needs anyway. If you're not sure, ask your doctor. See what she says.
About Ultra.
About the civil war in the Balkans tonight. The situation in Sarajevo, Bosnia, is described as extremely grave, with almost no food left in the city. United Nations aid flights were canceled today after 3 UN planes at the Sarajevo airport were hit by gunfire. No word on which side fired the shots. The Serbs have the high ground, but President Clinton is talking again now about lifting the embargo on arms sales to the outgunned Muslims. CBS News correspondent Alan Pizzi is in Sarajevo.
11-year-old Mirela Plaučić didn't know about arms embargoes. She died playing in the street, victim of a sniper. "You're killing innocent children," her father screamed. "Why don't you kill me?" French anti-sniper units were powerless to strike back. President Clinton wants to give the Bosnian government the means to retaliate on its own. In a letter supporting an amendment by Senator Sam Nunn to lift the arms embargo on the Bosnian government by mid-October, the president wrote, "It has been my long-held view that the arms embargo has unfairly and unintentionally penalized the victim in this conflict." The letter also backed the latest peace plan, which includes the demilitarization of Sarajevo, which the UN commander and the Bosnian government discussed today.
We agree 100% how to do it. So General Rhodes has a full support from our side to proceed on that.
But the UN believes up to 3,000 government troops have been moved from stable areas like this to a combat zone north of here in the last few days.
The trenches around Sarajevo have been relatively quiet for nearly 6 months. The UN believes they can help keep it that way, and lifting the arms embargo would be the worst thing that could happen.
The UN has long held that if the Serbs start to lose to the Bosnian government forces elsewhere, they'll punish Sarajevo. And as they showed today, it's all too easy. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Sarajevo.
Police investigating yesterday's crash of a South Korean jetliner are blaming the pilot and co-pilot, and they are blaming each other. The Canadian pilot and the Korean co-pilot reportedly got into an argument while attempting to land on a South Korean resort island in the middle of a rainstorm. As the cockpit crew struggled for control of the Airbus, it skidded into a runway barricade. Everyone on board managed to escape just before the plane burst into flames. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, friends of Nicole Brown Simpson defending her reputation.
Contrary to popular opinion, we at Oldsmobile don't think that the news today is all bad, or that the press is out to lure readers with sensationalist stories. In fact, we've been impressed with the fair, even-handed judgment they've used in selecting and reporting the news. We just wish they'd make our name a little bigger. It's your money.
Some nights, my husband Ben is out there for hours, in spite of his minor arthritis pain. When he has a flare-up, he takes Advil. For minor arthritis pain, doctors recommend Advil most. And Advil's gentler on his stomach than aspirin. He says Advil lets him get back to doing what he loves. And without the pain, he sleeps better. Says he wakes up feeling ready for another day. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I was worried I needed surgery for my hemorrhoids, but the doctor said they weren't serious and to use Preparation H.
Preparation H, trusted by millions to often help relieve those intense hemorrhoidal symptoms of itching, burning, and painful irritation for hours. Trust. Doctor-recommended Preparation H.
It's a great time to be silver because you're over 50 and you haven't lost your edge. Now there's a Centrum made just for you. Centrum Silver, for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
A baseball strike could end more than a dream season. It fouls the chances of players like this first baseman of the future. If he can't make the winning plays, he won't make the big bucks. No play, no pay. He may be baseball's future, but does baseball have one? Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
In less than 6 weeks, O.J. Simpson is scheduled to go on trial for the murders of his former wife and one of her friends. Today, friends of Nicole Brown Simpson were defending her against expected attacks from O.J. Simpson's attorneys. They fear a smear campaign. Simpson himself is back in jail tonight after a trip to the hospital. Correspondent Bill Whitaker has the latest from Los Angeles.
O.J. Simpson was taken from his jail cell before dawn to a Los Angeles hospital where he underwent minor surgery to remove a lymph node from under his arm for diagnosis. The procedure was planned and uneventful.
He's in a good mood. As I say, he's a little sore, but he's doing well.
Swollen lymph nodes can indicate cancer, and Simpson has a strong family history of cancer. As Simpson recuperates, defense and prosecution are mapping out strategies for the trial. And friends of Nicole Brown Simpson now fear the trial may make a victim of her all over again. Nicole Simpson's character and lifestyle are likely to come under intense scrutiny during the trial. Now, some of her friends are speaking out preemptively in her defense.
He had a beautiful 5'7" blonde who looked like a Barbie doll, who also was a mother to his children, who was well-liked, who was quiet, who also did the dishes.
Patricia Rose became fast friends with Nicole a few years ago at a so-called New Age body language class. She confirmed that even while the Simpsons were separated, they had a tempestuous relationship, sometimes passionately in love, sometimes violently at odds.
It's like walking on eggshells. And we used to talk about that when she was with him, she didn't know when he was going to have an outburst. And Nicole was always trying to fix it. She was always trying to make it better.
Rose says she doesn't even recognize the Nicole Brown Simpson who, since her death, has become weekly fodder for the tabloid press. The woman who reportedly partied the night away in Hollywood clubs and ran with a fast, glamorous crowd. It's an image the defense could exploit to shift the focus off O.J. Simpson.
Even though the defense may believe it's a good tactic to attack Nicole and show that she associated with other people who may have committed this crime, a jury may not like that attack.
Or the judge may not even allow it. But Patricia Rose says she can't wait until the trial to find out. Like most of Nicole's friends, she's remained silent until now that she's worried people will forget the victims. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The government says there was a sudden burst of inflation last month, fueled by caffeine and gasoline. Wholesale prices jumped 0.5%, the biggest increase in more than a year. Gasoline prices were up 8% as warm weather pushed up demand. Coffee prices soared 43%. Cold weather damaged the crop. The Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates again next week in another, it is said, attempt to keep inflation in check. New fears of inflation helped send stock prices lower today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost nearly 16 points.
Hello, you've got to try Muslix.
Some kind of a joke?
No, it's something you eat.
Maybe it's something you eat.
Once you get past the name Muslix, oh, please just try it. You're going to be real surprised by the taste. Crunchy.
Raisins?
Almonds?
Dates?
Kellogg's Muslix cereal has a cup of fruit and nuts in each box. That's 50% more than General Mills' Basic 4.
I'm surprised it's wonderful. Thank you so.
Thank you.
On my way now.
Bye-bye. Hello, you've got to try Muslix.
You gotta be kidding me.
If you have problems falling asleep, your world is about to change. Unisom sleep gels have a special liquid center and their maximum strength, so they're as effective as anything you can get without a prescription. They help you fall asleep fast and wake up refreshed. If you have problems falling asleep, try maximum strength Unisom sleep gels, a remarkable idea from Unisom.
Where's the pharmacy?
Okay. You go around motor oil, left at lingerie, around the...
Why go through all this to get low prices on healthcare products? Just go to your neighborhood medicine shop pharmacy. With nearly 1,000 stores nationwide, we have the same buying power as the big chains, so you'll always get a low price and personal service. The medicine shop, what a pharmacy was meant to be.
Save money on non-prescription products this month and join the Medicine Shop Pharmacy in raising funds for my kids.
If you're looking for the only car with the 270 horsepower North Star system that travels 100,000 miles between scheduled tune-ups and accommodates 6 adults, you'll find it at this number. $499 a month for 24 months with $2,400 down. Cadillac DeVille Concours, creating a higher standard.
How far would you go to protect your home? A security force cleaned the crooks out of here. Now everyone's safe. But are they too safe? Eye to Eye, tonight.
Yet another tragic spin-off today in the Rwandan refugee crisis. Thousands of local residents set up roadblocks and clashed with Zairian military troops near the refugee camps in and around Goma. They said they were protesting theft and brutality at the hands of Zaire's military. The troops are supposed to be there to maintain order and bring relief supplies to the refugees. No matter how dismal conditions are in the camps of Zaire, and they are very dismal indeed, many of the refugees flat out refuse to return to Rwanda despite repeated promises of safety. CBS News correspondent Barry Peterson reports from inside Rwanda.
For 100 miles, often barefoot, they walk home. But you don't see thousands, only hundreds, only a start. This too is a start. A few brave ministers willing to ignore rumors of retaliation, ready to lead their flocks back to Rwanda. I'm confident now, says the Reverend Kayabanda, that it's safe for my people to come back.
In the refugee camps, people live with squalor and overcrowding. It's all the more amazing that they stay when you see what they have left behind, whole villages that are empty. Rwanda is a country of ghost towns.
And fields lush with tea that will rot for lack of harvesting, of vegetables going begging for lack of customers. The victorious rebels insist that people, all people, will be safe. Along the way, instant hospitals are going up to lure the refugees.
Ask him if he's ever had malaria before.
They fill as fast as they open.
There's hope for them here. They have a country to come back to.
You have to wonder why they want to stay. They must be very scared.
Evarista Mitarare is a leader of a nearby village. He wants his people back. It's lies and rumors, he says, that the returnees are being killed. For some, staying in the camps meant certain death. We were about to die of hunger, says this man. UN peacekeepers and aid agencies are running a human Pony Express, truck ride to truck ride. Millions fled the civil war. Some may stay away for years. Only the brave or the desperate believe there is no place like home. Barry Peterson, CBS News, near Ruangari, Rwanda.
Coming up next, Eye on America. Too young to die. Too young to kill.
Attention heartburn sufferers.
If antacids work, why do I keep getting heartburn?
You know, frequent heartburn may be a sign of a more serious medical problem. Your doctor has treatment plans that can help.
Frequent heartburn. Isn't it time you talk to your doctor?
It's a great time to be silver because you're over 50 and you haven't lost your edge. Now there's a Centrum made just for you. Centrum Silver for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
Is the gray in your mustache or beard making you look too old? Now there's Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel, specially for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. This brush-in gel stays put to penetrate hard-to-color hair. In 5 minutes, rinse. Your mustache or beard blends with your natural hair color, and it won't fade or wash out.
Now that's a lot better.
Just for Men Color Gel from the leader in men's hair coloring.
The interior of the new Honda Accord creates an open environment. It's roomy and comfortable and available in fine leather. The reinforced body is insulated to be quieter than ever. When you consider everything the new Accord has to offer, it becomes an open and shut case. The new Accord EX from Honda.
You might be confused by all the different types of pain relievers and all their claims, but your doctor isn't. They call one type NSAIDs, like aspirin, ibuprofen, and the latest pain reliever with the main ingredient naproxen sodium. The pain reliever in Tylenol is different from all these, especially when it comes to your stomach. To varying degrees, every NSAID brand can sometimes cause the side effect of stomach irritation. Tylenol won't. The choice is clear. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Few murders draw anywhere near the attention of the O.J. Simpson case. But in this country, sad to say, murders happen every day in big cities and small towns. And one day, the town was in upstate New York. The victim was a child. So is the killer. Correspondent Anthony Mason has the story in tonight's Eye on America.
The mother of 4-year-old Derek Roby had a nickname for her little boy.
He was my cute little firecracker.
Derek Roby had been walking alone to day camp in the small town of Savona, New York last August. He was found murdered in a nearby field. But the identity of the killer stunned the community as much as the news of the murder.
Anger caused him to kill 4-year-old Derek Roby.
Police arrested 13-year-old Eric Smith, a Savona boy from an old Savona family.
Smith faces 9 years to life if convicted of second-degree murder.
I don't think it's in our human nature to ever want to think that somebody we know or played with our children or we sat down and had coffee with or whatever could be capable of killing somebody.
All rise. Or that the confessed killer could be so young. In the trial now underway, the prosecutor has described how Eric Smith lured Derek Roby along a shortcut to camp and suddenly choked him.
And as Derek started to struggle, to gasp for life-sustaining air, Eric tells us, he says to himself, "Forget it." And he squeezed harder.
He then described how Eric picked up a 26-pound rock.
And Eric says he, with 2 hands, threw it into Derek Roby's head.
A year later, the town of Savona is still learning how difficult it is to recover from what happened in this field, how hard it is to find sympathy for the families of 2 of its children, one who is killed and one who is a killer.
It's like if you feel sorry for Tammy Smith, then you're not being fair to Dale and Doreen Roby.
It was through Mary Davidson's backyard that Eric Smith led 4-year-old Derek to his death.
Just right about here. I think we're uncomfortable with it because we don't understand it. And because we don't understand it and don't know why it happened, we don't know that it won't happen tomorrow again.
It happened, defense attorneys contend, because Eric Smith suffers from a rage disorder caused in part by epilepsy medication his mother took during pregnancy.
He, at the time he was killing Derek Roby, lacked substantial capacity to appreciate the consequences of his actions.
But even the pastor at Savona's Federated Church believes ultimately Eric must accept responsibility for his actions.
Until the perpetrator of the crime can really repent of what he did, then there is no forgiveness possible.
But in Eric Smith's long, blank stare, there appears to be no repentance. So Savona is waiting for the trial to end, for the media to leave, so life maybe can move on.
I think there will always be that remembrance that tragedy struck here, but I think that the town is going to keep together.
Even if the questions are never answered. Why did one child kill? Why was another child murdered? In Savona, New York, I'm Anthony Mason for Eye on America.
And that's part of our world tonight. Later tonight, on Eye to Eye with Connie Chung, residents of a crime-ridden apartment complex find out that the cost of private security is personal liberty. For Connie and for all of us at the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Experience CBS News.
This is CBS.